Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. On this episode, we're going to look at the Lowell Wrench Company number 24 ratchet that you saw me pick up at Jacktown this year. So it's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned. So we're going to take this big Lowell Wrench Company ratchet apart, see what it's made of, see what the inside looks like, and see if we can get it in better condition. Got my trusty flathead Craftsman screwdriver. That's a Barney. Had to look. This is one that I had in my personal box for a long time. It's a PR. Interesting. So let's get us a little before look. And let's get to taking her apart. I always like to try to get them both loose before I take either out. Just an old mechanics thing. It's kind of like opening a fill before you open a drain. Know what you can do before you get too far in. Pull the screw. I don't know much about Lowell manufacturing. I literally just finished filming the video where I showed you guys this, the tool haul. So I haven't even had a chance to look at any of this. I don't know anything really about Lowell manufacturing, but I will be looking them up after I'm done. So yeah, you can see how crusty that was, kind of packed with grease and stuff in there. Interesting. I don't see any way to reverse this. Oh, yes, I do. I know what it does now. This end. I was wondering why we had this knurled piece. That's froze up, but we'll get it checked out. So this is actually a reversible ratchet. That's cool. I really thought this was just going to be a single direction, flip it over type ratchet. There, get that popped loose. Get him out of there. That gear looks to be in pretty good shape. It's got some dried grease on it. But that's really about it. You know, I planned on working on my Craftsman BE set until I got this thing. So this may become the video for this week, and then maybe we'll get into the BE. Yeah, this beast is crusty, that's for sure. My picks are in the house. Still haven't moved everything between the two areas. Okay. So I'm gonna pause for a minute and I'm gonna see if I can get this end loose. I'll be right back. All right, So I grabbed these crusty channel locks. If you saw the day before Jacktown tool haul, I picked these up in that. I was able to get on this end and turn it so that that post is up, and now that spring's loose. None of this is in bad shape at all. So I think I'm going to need to get some brake clean and a scrub brush and see if we can get in here and get this cleaned up a little bit. Get this mechanism all working. So let's set all these pieces up here. Put the screws and the springs inside that ring. Okay, I grabbed what I had out here. So, yeah, that's a barrel brush. Clean pew-pews. Got some Shop Pro non-chlorinated brake clean. My son-in-law brought this over, so we'll see how well it works. I usually use, I think it's Daco. Right now I'm just trying to get this mechanism to move by hand. Just a little back and forth with it, with the pliers. It feels like it's just been packed with grease. It's moving a lot better now. It looks like this can come apart. I'm not sure that I'm going to try that. Just because I think this is pressed on, this end. I don't want to try knocking that loose. There we go. Now it at least moves by hand. I'm going to use one of my wheels on it. Move my drink away from the table so that I don't coat it in all the fun stuff that comes out of here. Yeah, the brake clean kind of boogered that up a little bit, but that's okay. Kind of figured that was going to happen. Usually I put a rag down, but I forgot. Got too excited. So this I'll probably put in a fast forward, and you probably won't, that way you don't hear the motor, but we'll get in it. All right, so I got it cleaned up enough in there that all the crusty stuff is gone. I'll put a little bit of the handy 3-in-1 oil down in the shaft here. See if I can get that even more lubed up. So like I say, I don't want to take this all apart. Tried to pull that screw, it didn't want to move, and I wasn't going to force it. So I'm going to move that around a little bit, and then I'm going to take this to the big wheel and see how well I can get it cleaned up. Yeah, it's turning like it's supposed to now. 3-in-1 always helps, right? So actually, that's machined in. So if I can get that little screw out of there, I can get this apart. I'll grab a smaller screwdriver and see if I can get that little screw out of there. Why not, right? All right, I got one that fits in there. It's a 1/8, made in USA, of course. Another PR, Craftsman. So let's see if we can get this screw out. Yeah. The other one I had that was too big was the 3/16, which I think I'd used on an adjustable or something. I'll put my hand over here in case that spring really decides to release itself. Yeah, didn't do too bad. So there that is. That's crusty. That's where it was sticking right there. So I think this is actually going to get super lube on it too when I put it back together. So that's a spring, and it went with the wings up. So now I'm going to take all this stuff to the wheel. You guys know what it's like when I use the wheel. It's loud, obnoxious, so I won't bore you with that. I'll come back, all these pieces will be cleaned up and ready to go back together. All right, so we're back. Got it all cleaned up. Sprayed it down with brake clean. We're going to blue the handle, and we're going to blue the gear. Gonna have to order some more bluing soon. This out of the way so I don't drip it on the head. I'll go back and clean the head afterwards anyway. But the less I gotta clean it, the better. So that took me about 45 minutes at the wire wheel and the nylon wheel. But I got it all cleaned up. Looks much better now. And I know I get a bunch of commenters that tell me how to blue things, and everybody's got their own way. I don't follow the instructions. So I've got the way that I think works a little better for me. And other people have the way that they think works a little better for them. One thing I don't do is I don't water rinse. I'll oil rinse, but I don't water rinse. So in this area, I'll definitely have to put a line back there. By the time I'm done, I'll probably have a couple coats of blue on this. I like to go a little thick. You can use a Q-tip, cotton swab, whatever you want to call it. I just don't have those in the barn. I got a bunch of these little silver handled brushes and a lot that I bought after a gentleman had passed away. So we use what we have, right? What I did, per some of your guys' suggestion, start wearing rubber gloves, at least on my hand that I'm touching the part I'm going to blue. Let that dry a little bit. We go back and do this again. If you saw my tool haul where I got this from Jacktown, the guy who had it was going to throw it away on Sunday if no one bought it because he didn't know what it was, and he was tired of lugging it around for no good reason. He didn't actually know it was a ratchet. When I showed him that it actually turned, at the time I thought in one direction, but when I showed him it turned, he thought that was pretty cool. And you see we get all these lines and streaks and everything in here. But when we go back with the oil and the steel wool, all that goes away. And I like to do just a couple coats of this blue. This is a lighter blue. And to me, it gives it more of a light industrial look as opposed to the black like an antique tool, even though this is an antique tool. Let that sit for a couple minutes. We'll come back and we will oil up some steel wool and wipe that down. Let it sit again, and then we'll start putting everything together. Be right back. Okay, so let's get our piece of steel wool. Get a little oil on it. And just use the 3-in-1. Yep. Apparently I just tightened it, so loosened it. Be generous with it. Fold it over. Get it all kind of wiped around. grab a rag. And see, it gives it kind of that machined look, but not overly black, which is what I was looking for on this one. Let's get some oil in here. On it, not at it, guy. And just turn it. And push it through. That's how I do it anyway. And then pull it back through. A couple back and forths. Back to the rag. You see, I'm just trying to give it a little bit of color, but not make it look like black and silver. So I'm going to take this back to the wire wheel, get off things like that. I'll do that real quick, come back with the super lube, and we'll get this guy put together. All right, it's all wiped down. Like I said, I wanted it to have that like used industrial look, not something new and shiny. I think we've achieved that pretty well. Got the super lube. So with this, I just like to give it a little dab on my finger. This is kind of like putting together a proto. So a little down in here, a little in each of these pockets. This machining for, I don't know how old this thing is, but it's gotta be pretty old. This machining is still nice and sharp. A little bit more. Put this on for a second. See, super lube, made in America. They do sell it at Harbor Freight. I forget what that tube cost me. I think I bought it under one of my 20% off coupons or something. A little bit more. Make sure it gets on this bottom surface. And we'll also make sure it gets on the gears. You don't have to overcoat it. I'm going to oil this as well. This ratchet is so old, it was definitely an oil me ratchet. Someone had put some grease in it at some point. That was that kind of rust-colored, sticky stuff we saw on the cover mostly. Again, just like in the body. Go around this surface. And then we'll do the same thing with these guys. So the super lube will give it a little bit of a rust-proof layer as well as lubrication. That's why I'm always make sure I'm a little bit generous with it. Stuff's more expensive than grease, but it's not like it's going to break the bank or anything. That tube was, I don't know, $6 or something like that before the coupon. You can see even on this big boy ratchet, we didn't use too much. Oh. I know the other place I was going to put it after I get it all wiped off my hands. So this had a pretty good little layer of rust on it. So I just want to make sure we get that good and coated. So I don't know if I said this earlier, but it's like 5:30 in the afternoon, Saturday at Jacktown. So I came home from Jacktown about 1:30, 2 o'clock, filmed that part of the tool haul video, and then jumped right into this guy. I just thought this guy was cool. Sit in my chair, bump my little mobile workstation all over the place. So let's put this together. Oh, and I'm going to take and shoot some oil down the end here. I did use my barrel cleaner to get in there. Yeah, that turns like night and day difference now, guys. And we put this screw in. Let you guys look right down the end of the screwdriver. I've got to hold the back end of it now. It must have moved so much. And I know what I forgot to do already. So we'll take this screw back out. I was talking with another YouTuber today about, it's good to leave in the little issues. Sometimes the big ones, we may or may not make disappear. But if we put the flat spring in, that'll help with the detent. It's tricky getting the flat spring to go down enough. There we go. get it lined up. Maybe a little bit bigger screwdriver on it. Trying not to pinch my hand in the end at the same time. Yeah, I knew I was gonna do that. Just need a little something under this handle to lift it up. There. Put the channel locks down there. There we go. There, now the detent works a little better with, you know, it being in there. The first one was just a practice run for getting the screw on. Now let's see how well we learned from that practice run, right? Good, man. There we go. There. I just want to make sure I was lining it up correctly, and I was. Perfect. Just getting that little bit of alignment. There we go. So now that should turn. Yeah, using the pliers on it just because it's easier. My hands are slippery. Touching all these different lubes and stuff. And now we're gonna put a bunch of oil in there. Because that's honestly what these were made for. Is to have the dog snot oiled out of them. So I'll put this guy back together. Before I jump to my outro, I'm actually going to jump online and read a little bit about this, and then I will give you an outro. Actually, got to give you an intro as well. Like I said, I just jumped right into doing this. Anyway, I wanted to see it. I thought you guys did too, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. And I will be right back. So did you enjoy that one? You know, speaking of Jacktown, you probably can't make it out real well, but this little triangle, a rectangle, square. Yeah, that's what that thing is. I'm an engineer. The square sticker right here on the lift, that is sticker from Bigfoot's Cave that Bigfoot gave me at Jacktown. I'm gonna put my gloves back on because it's a little slippery. But have you guys check this thing out? So look at that. I'll drop a video here at the end too, comparing the two. Do the old Scout Crafter before and after thing. But pretty cool. I promised you guys a little bit of history. So what I found about this wrench was that Lowell is still in business, 150 years. They started in 1869, I think it said. but it said celebrating 150 years on their page. They're still in Massachusetts. They still make these products in the USA. Their primary customers are in water and high power lines. They still make the 24. It still looks similar. This one looks like it's probably a cast head and a tube body. The new ones have a ring here that goes around it, and it says that it's drop forged. Where we've got the arc between this plate here, the new ones come out and come down and have like half a circle and back over. They're like straight, half circle down, back over. They don't have these stampings and stuff. But it's still the same type. It still has the end kind of like this. It's the full diameter of the tube, but it's still the same turn it and go type of setting. So yeah, definitely cool. I did not know that Lowell was still in business. I assumed it was an old brand, and it is, but it's still something that is relevant today. They still make this. It's still used. These older ones on eBay sell for around $50. The new ones are $169, I think, roughly, depending on the size square you get. So you can get anywhere from 7/8 up to, I think it was 1 3/8 on the square. This one, I think, is 1 inch. I didn't have anything 1 inch drive out here in the barn to put in and try it. I tried a 3/4 and it just floated, so I'd say it's at least 1 inch, if not a little bit larger. But yeah, cool to find out. This one's back-end service. It can be used. Everything works really well. You see, nice little twist. Good action on it. So I would be curious to see one of the new Lowells. If any of you guys know about Lowell, use it. Maybe it's something you use in your profession. George, maybe it's something you see because water's their customer. Or if somebody does high tension lines, those kinds of things, maybe it's something you've seen. Drop a comment below. But this has been a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Burnout. I love you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Scout Crafter's favorite before and after.